I guess we're getting ready to start. Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Toledo. Today will be the changing of the guard. I'd like to ask past President Chuck Mann to come to the podium for reflection and then have Dorothy Mockenstern lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
Today we celebrate the many accomplishments of President Dick Wolff and express our excitement and support as incoming President Tim Ryan, begins his helm as the 110th President of the Rotary Club of Toledo. The impact left by President Dick and the 108 generous men and women who have proudly served before him in this office is legendary. Countless hours are spent away from work and family. Oh, and that elusive commodity called free time fades into obscurity for the next 12 months. For President Tim's term of office, his time will now be spent with meeting prep, committee meetings, district functions, special events, taking phone calls from irate members who wish to chat about a misguided joke or two. On that note, let us pray. This is written by Pastor Clifford J. Swanson of the Northfield Rotary. Our thanks, Lord, for those gathered here and for the sense of high purpose we share. As we begin a new year, grant our officers stamina, patience, and a sense of humor that we may relax together and so create meaningful fellowship and selfless service without taking ourselves too seriously in this, your world, and in service to Rotary. Amen.
Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, past President Chuck and Dorothy. As we begin today's meeting, I'd like to thank and acknowledge WGTE as this month's sponsor. I believe we only have one visiting Rotarian, and it's past District Governor Do Yin. Do, if you'd stand and be recognized, please. Welcome, great to have you here. Does anyone have any guests they would like to introduce today?
President Dick, fellow Rotarians, we've brought our daughter, Bryn, to watch her dad get sworn into the board today.
Bryn, welcome, Bryn.
President Dick, my guest today is, let me start, Ed Hughes. Ed is a sourcing manager with Lazy Boys. He's checking us out for today.
Okay, I hope we check well. Ed, welcome.
And my second guest is my wife and best friend for 26 years, Jerry.
Jerry, great to have you.
Rotarians and guests, I'd also like to introduce my husband now that he put his mouth full of food. I always do it, good timing. My husband, Thomas Skilder, a great, great Rotarian supporter. Please stand, Tom, to be recognized.
Welcome all. Now would be a great time to check into social media to let everyone know you're at the Toledo Rotary Club, and also to like us on Facebook. And then I ask that you please silence your phones for the rest of today's meeting. We have some outgoing board members, foundation trustee, and at this time I would like to ask past President Eric Fankhauser to step forward. Eric is the sole member of the Board of Trustees going off this year, and of course Eric's done so much for the club. So Eric, thanks for your service. And we have two board members leaving us this year after 3 great years of service. It would be Dean Neese, and Dan Skilleter. I know Dan Skilleter has a few things going on right now in his life with the new baby. I guess, are you up now? It says Kathy on my schedule.
Okay, I didn't see it on mine. Okay, right on cue. Thank you, fellow Rotarians. It is my pleasure to recognize and honor soon-to-be past President Dick Wolff. And I admire the office of the presidency so much because I probably I do work closest with all presidents, and he is my 7th president that I've had the honor to serve with for a year-long term each time, and I look forward to working with incoming President Tim Ryan. But it's my pleasure and my honor to present him with this plaque. I'll have to get fingerprints on it, sorry. It just says, in appreciation of your dedicated services, Richard E. Wolff, President 2018-2019, Rotary Club of Toledo. So, thank you.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I still have a few things to say, but thank you. The first thing I want to do is one of the most exciting year-end events happened on Friday when past President Riaz Chaudhary made a hole-in-one in the Rotary Golf Day at Toledo Country Club. And it was really cool because I saw it. I was on the next tee and actually watched it go in. And Riaz was the past president who informed me about 4 years ago that I had been nominated to become second vice president. So a lot of meaning to me. So Riaz, job well done. And a great picture too. It seems like every year goes by quickly, but the past 12 months have been a whirlwind. We've accomplished a lot as a club, and I'd like to share a few snapshots of the moments we've shared together. Well, I want to thank Katie Hahn and Walt McGee for really putting that together for us. Great job. We began the year with an ambitious agenda. We didn't achieve every goal, but I'm very satisfied with what we did accomplish. Due to attrition, and maybe I would say in spite of all the attrition, we were still able to recognize a net gain in club membership of 1 member. So we went up. We did welcome 49 new members, and in doing so, our member diversity much better reflects our community, and I'm very proud of that. I also believe we increased the number of opportunities for involvement for our members. We gave leadership positions to many new and younger members. They excelled in their work and also brought many new and exciting ideas. Please make every effort in the coming year to bring in a new member to our club. It really is what makes us work. We also made it a priority to promote our Toledo Rotary Foundation and the deserving recipients of the $200,000 in grants we give every year. I hope all of you will put the Toledo Rotary Foundation at the top of your charitable giving list this year. I'm very pleased with how we promoted our club and Rotary in general to our community. Through outstanding media coverage of our Transformational Project press conference and our black tie affair, as well as the opportunity to be on the leading edge with Jerry Anderson, residents of Northwest Ohio are much more aware of Toledo Rotary and Rotary in general. I ask that you all continue to promote our club. As individuals, we can bring attention to Rotary just by wearing our pin every day. You'll be surprised at the number of questions and inquiries you get when people see that pin. We also strengthened our ties with our Rotary District and other area clubs. We worked together with the Maumee, Perrysburg, and Waterville Rotary clubs to hold Kids Day events at Middle Grounds Metro Park and at the Toledo School for the Arts. Several of the area Rotary clubs joined us for our food build in May to support Kids Against Hunger, where we put together over 47,000 meals for undernourished families, both home and abroad. I encourage you to support our other area clubs whenever you have the chance. We are all part of the same Rotary family. I am most proud of the approval of our 3 new transformational projects: the promotion of universal pre-kindergarten, lead poisoning and abatement, and water advocacy. The process of identifying, vetting, and approving these projects involved hundreds of our members. It was truly a great team effort. I invite all of you to get involved and help us carry out these life-changing projects to a successful conclusion. I've been asked over the last few weeks if I'm happy or relieved to finish my term. While it will be nice to get some free time back, I will miss being president of this great club. I will miss our monthly executive committee meetings at the original Pancake House, especially the banana pancakes and the comedy team of Dew and Kneep. I will miss being up here to lead our Monday meetings because I must confess, I like being in charge. Most of all, I will miss being able to work with so many of you on different projects and events. But rest assured, I'm not going away. I promised President-elect and very soon to be President Tim I'll help him in any way I can, and I have signed up for 3 Rotary committees. If you haven't signed up for a 2019-2020 committee yet, please do, because it's the best way to get involved. I have many people to thank, and first and foremost is my wife, Sherry, who's sitting right there. She's been so supportive these past 12 months. She's gone to every event I've asked her to attend, put up with my many early and evening meetings, and has even memorized the 4-way test. I will not ask you to do that right now. Best of all, she's become a great ambassador for Rotary when speaking with others. We've always been a perfect match, and I thank you and love you so much for all you do for me. I now want to thank a bunch of people, and I'd ask that you hold your applause as I get through this list, and then I will ask them to all stand and be recognized. I want to thank the Park-In staff for the tremendous job they do. Past President Walter McGee, Tom Smith, and the entire TRAV team for the wonderful presentations every Monday. Chuck Mann for his dependable humor. Phil Mariacy for all the great video work he's done for our club. Hannah Murad for chairing the Black Tie Affair Committee. Pat Sheehan and his wife Elaine for hosting Manuel, our youth exchange student. All committee chairs and vice chairs. Kathy Michaelogic and the rest of the foundation trustees. All of the Rotary Board members. The executive committee of Tim Ryan, Alex Dew, and Jim Kneep, and also Peter Handwork for all the work he did for our board and executive committee. I want to thank Emily Skilleter for her work in the office the first half of this year, and Katie Hahn for bringing our club communications to a new level of excellence. If I just mention your name or club position, please stand and be recognized for a job well done. Obviously, there's one more person who needs to be recognized. Those of you old enough to remember the 1960s, and I'm guessing there are a few of us here, will remember that soul singer James Brown was described as the hardest working man in show business. Well, our executive director, Kathy Tate, is the hardest working woman in Rotary. Kathy is always thinking about our club. I learned this from the incessant emails, texts, and phone calls I received from her morning, day, and night, 7 days a week, whether she was in town or on vacation. Tim, brace yourself. Serving as president has allowed me to view firsthand how much Kathy does for Toledo Rotary. Simply stated, this club could not function without her. In the world of Rotary, there is so much to be done on a club, district, and international level, and Kathy makes sure it all happens. She is imaginative and full of new ideas, and through it all, she is cheerful and a friend to everyone she meets. There are over 35,000 Rotary clubs in the world, and I'm convinced the Rotary Club of Toledo has the best executive director of them all. Thank you, Kathy, for everything you've done for me and all that you do for our club. Yeah. Give it up. Whatever you want. As I stated a year ago, Rotary is the most important service club in the world, and this club is the best organization I've ever been associated with. I want to thank each and every one of you for being so supportive, for saying yes when I asked for your help, and for making this club an outstanding example of service above self. This has been one of the best years of my life. I am forever grateful for the honor and experience of serving as president of the Rotary Club of Toledo. Thank you.
Just for you. Well, you went and you survived, you know what? You know we gotta give you praise. Sing that name. Oh, Dick, we praise you. And when we do, we'll make it rain. Oh, can I get it high, man? You did it. And you're still alive. Well, for all you do, we praise you.
Thank you, Walter. Well, now it's time for the changing of the guard. So, President-elect Tim, please join me at the podium. I must say that Tim and I have become great friends through this process, and it's an honor to be turning this over to him. I am a little curious, though, because I think Tim maybe has gotten a little bit overly ambitious. I've been seeing a lot of these around. And I'm not sure if he's talking about usurping Alex's term for another year here or bigger and better things, but this is a souvenir I'm going to cherish. So Tim, if you'd please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Tim Ryan, do solemnly pledge
I, Tim Ryan, do solemnly pledge
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the Rotary Club of Toledo
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the Rotary Club of Toledo,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will at all times
and that I will at all times
uphold the Constitution and bylaws of this club.
uphold the Constitution and bylaws of this club.
Tim, you've been elected to the office of the President of the Rotary Club of Toledo. I hereby declare you as being duly installed, and now pass to you, President Tim, our gavel as a symbol of the transfer of the club's leadership. It is emblematic of your office and an expression of the members' confidence in your leadership. President Tim, please accept the gavel and pin of your office. And my very best wishes for the wonderful year I know the Rotary Club of Toledo will experience under your extremely capable leadership. My friend, congratulations.
Thank you very much. Wow. Dick, those are big shoes to fill. I've enjoyed working with you. I look forward to working with you in the future, and we have become great friends. Thank you for everything you've done. My first task, I'm told, is to swear in new officers. And so I would like Alex Dupe, our president-elect, new president-elect, Bob DiNardo, new vice president, Kevin Mullen, new director, Travis Tangleman, new director, Judy Sivanek, to join me on the dais, please. Excuse me. Where is Jim Kniep? Jim, where are you? Come on up here. I also would like to have Sharon Skeletor, our new Toledo Rotary Foundation, rise and join us on the dais. Everyone, where's Kevin? Alex, Bob, Kevin, Travis, Judy, you've been elected to the Board of Directors of the Rotary Club of Toledo. Sharon, you've been elected a trustee of the foundation. Jim, you've been elected for your second year as, where is Jim? Your second year as Secretary Treasurer. This is an indication of the esteem and confidence that our members have in all of you. We also believe that you will uphold the high traditions of our club. You will give, to the best of your ability, efforts to the furtherance of the interests of our club and foundation, and that you will carry forward the objectives of Rotary. Please raise your right hands. Will you fulfill the responsibilities of your term to the best of your ability and in accordance with the Constitution of this club? If so, please say, I will. I will. Thank you very much. You have now been installed as members of the Rotary Club of Toledo Board of Directors, or Jim, the Secretary Treasurer, and Sharon to the Rotary Club Foundation. Thank you and have a great year. Well, that was the easy part because I was reading for the most part. I would like all of you to look around on the floor. I've lost something. I came in here with a head full of ideas and they poured out and I don't know where they are. Seriously. Jerry Smolin, where are you? Thank you for sponsoring me into the Rotary Club of Toledo so many years ago. It's been a great thing for me and I much appreciate it. I'm going to go through a list of Rotarians They are Peter Handwerk, Gary Murphy, Helen Bolanis, Sharon Skilleter, Do Nguyen, and Kathy Tate. I have learned so much from you, and I am very grateful for you teaching me what it is to be a Rotarian. I'm grateful to all of you. Thank you. At the head table today, I have asked family and friends to gather. If I could ask them to stand and have them recognized at the end. In front of me is this very beautiful woman, Cindy Allen. She's my partner. Who's rising under my friend. I don't know if I have the title right yet, because Pastor Dr. Cedric Brock with Mount Nebo Church. In the last year, I've become great friends with him, and he does a lot of work in this community. My beautiful niece and fellow Rotarian, Becky Swisher. My brother-in-law, Bob D'Amato. With us today representing Buffalo Soldiers is Fred Lefevre. He's a media personality. My wonderful daughter, Dr. Christina Bell. I especially like saying the doctor part of it. My sister, Mary Beth DiMatteo. And my sister, Peg Ryan. Thank you all for coming. It means so much to me that you're here. Looking to my left, I'm looking at the amazing past presidents. And I'm humbled and honored to have the opportunity to follow in your footsteps. I promise that I will do my best to keep this club relevant, both to our members and to the community. And I would like to thank all of you for the service that you've given this club. Thank you. It's now my honor to award a Paul Harris Fellow. And could I ask Cindy Allen to join me on the dais? You guys have already figured out that it's in my best interest to say nice things about Cindy.
I thought I was getting a crown, but this is even better.
Cindy, Paul Harris Fellow is one of the highest awards that we grant Rotarians. Typically, it's for people that have given money to help us accomplish the many things that we do in our community and around the world. It's always for people that exemplify our motto of service above self, and that you do in spades. Whether you act as an advocate for children, their education, their health, or assist in being a polio warrior, or visiting the elderly, or driving people to cancer treatments, and so much more. For all of the stuff that you do, including helping me to get to this place, I award you a Paul Harris Fellow.
Oh, thank you.
I guess I should keep on schedule. I thought long and hard about what I'm going to say to you and whether or not I should share some very private experiences with you today. But it is part of my Rotary journey, and I thought it was relevant on this, my first day, to share with you a difficult a difficult story. About 20 years ago, my wife and I moved to Henderson, Nevada. We wanted to go there for the sunshine. We wanted to go there to retire. We wanted to go there for a good time. Henderson's a nice place. Anyway, we bought a house there, and it was beautiful. We made a few friends, but didn't have many, and we didn't know the community. Henderson is it's a growing town, but at the time it was a suburb, and still is a suburb of Las Vegas, Nevada. And because I didn't know anybody and I didn't really know the town, I decided that it would probably be a good thing to join a club, perhaps a service club. I could have joined Kiwanis, I could have joined Lions, there's a number of them. But for some reason, I found myself wandering into a Rotary meeting in downtown Henderson. It was a small club, maybe 25, 30 members, 20 of them active, really. A bunch of them table Rotarians. And they were nice. They did some interesting stuff. I got to. We took a bus down to San Felipe, Mexico, and we painted a library, and we refurbished that library with Spanish language books. I rang a bell at the Salvation Army space where they told me to go ring the bell and raise some money for the community. And we bought books and did things for underserved children who needed educational help. And that was good. I liked doing it. Happy to help. And I was getting to know some people, and they were becoming friends, much like in this room. And then my wife got sick. She got very sick. And I couldn't go to Rotary because every minute seemed that we were trying to keep her alive. And I called them and told them, and I don't know what they did. They put me on leave or something. I didn't know that much about Rotary. I liked the people, but the fact is that I didn't have time for Rotary in my life at that time. And things went from bad to worse. And at the very end, we made the very difficult decision, the hardest decision of my life, to have her go into hospice. She needed inpatient hospice care. And then the surprise came. The fact is in Las Vegas, they had not put up a new hospice bed in 15 years, and their population had more than tripled. And so all of this stuff was going on. It was just so overwhelming. And then there's no place to put her. I mean, what do you do? Just for no amount of money, under any circumstances, was there going to be another bed for my wife? Thankfully, at the very end, a bed did come available, and she went into hospice, and thank God for that. Very small favor, but there was a place made for her, and now I'm on my own. You know, my family lived here in Toledo for the most part, and I had a house there, and this is not what I was expecting, and I'm sure I had some mental problems. Lots of depression, and no place to go, and nobody to talk to, really. So I went back to Rotary, because at least I knew some of them, and they had lunch. And I was complaining, what kind of town is this? You know, it's Las Vegas. It's supposed to be modern. It's supposed to be up to date. You guys haven't built a hospice bed for inpatient hospice clients in 15 years, and your population is more than tripled. What's give us with that? I'm sure I had a lot of other complaints too. Anyway, they listened to the story and they agreed. And next week or two, I'm going to a Rotary meeting, and to my surprise, the district governor shows up, and she was a nice lady. And she asked to hear the story, and I relayed the story of what happened. and how there was no hospice bed, not just for me and my family, but for anybody in the community. And it really shouldn't be that way. And she said, I didn't even know they had district governors. That's, for those of you that are new Rotarians, we have district governors. Anyway, so she arranged for me to meet with other clubs and presidents and tell the story about what's going on with hospice in this city and why there isn't one. And next thing I know, they're forming some sort of organization and a 501c3. See, the thing about Rotary is we got doctors and lawyers and professionals and managers and people that can do things and people that know stuff. I don't think I knew what a 501c3 was, but they did, and they set one up. And I was heading it, which is great. Next thing I know, I'm talking to the mayor of Henderson and the mayor of Las Vegas. After that, I went to Washington, D.C., and I met with every member of the Nevada delegation in Washington, the 2 senators and the congressman, and they all agreed that something needed to be done. After that, somebody arranged for me to speak to the Ways and Means Committee in Carson City. That's the capital of Nevada. Anyway, just to make a long story short, Rotary did all of that. That little Rotary Club in Henderson, Nevada, that really didn't have any money, really couldn't accomplish this on their own, knew everybody, could get me speaking to the governor, the mayors, the Ways and Means Committee, the congressmen, the senators, everything that needed to be done, set up a 501c3, start collecting money, do those things that were necessary to make it work. And that Rotary Club never asked for a single bit of recognition, and they never got it. Long story short, if you're driving from Boulder Dam, headed toward Las Vegas, there's only one road. On your way into Henderson, when you see the buildings and sign for the University of Southern Nevada, look for a street called Compassionate Way, and you will find a hospice and adult daycare center, thanks to Rotary. And I couldn't be more grateful. I only wanted one decent thing to come out of that, and they arranged it. That's the power of this organization. That's what we can do. We can get to anybody if we want to. We can be the best advocates in our community. When I was sure that the hospice was underway, I chose to join the Peace Corps. It's in my middle 50s, seemed like a smart thing to do at the time. I ended up working in Mali in West Africa. It's a landlocked country. I saw poverty like I never thought could exist. And I also saw the Rotary wheel in all kinds of water and health projects where Mali was probably one of the 2 or 3 poorest countries in the world. And I saw Rotary going in and helping. I went to a number of Rotary meetings. They're not like this. They sing the Rotary anthem, and that's great. But like us, they are business leaders. They are professionals, and they're very concerned about their communities. And I saw the stuff that they were doing with limited amount of funds, making sure that they had partners to build water projects and all of the stuff that Rotarians do. And I thought, I got to go back and really become a committed Rotarian. Anyway, I came back, and here I am today. It just seems like yesterday I joined this club. As I think about our future, about this club, and what our goals should be for this upcoming year, to me it's pretty simple. We have to continue to attracting and retaining members. It will be my highest priority. We have a long history. I don't know what the number is, but if it's 40 members come in and 40 go out, or 41 go out, that's a tough situation. We've got to be attracting and retaining members. In order to do that, we have to be relevant. We have to be relevant to our own members and equally important to their families. Everyone who came to this meeting today is giving up a lunch. Other meetings that you go to, you're giving up time and talent that otherwise would be going to your families. We need to involve the families. They give just like the rest of us. And we need, as we do projects and as we do things, we need to be recognized the loved ones that help us do the things that we do to make Rotary work. The idea of being relevant is also the idea of being an advocate. We do so much. You know, that little Rotary Club back in Henderson, I love those guys. And they did it all. They did it all. But they didn't get any recognition for it. So how in the world can the people of Henderson, Nevada understand that Rotary is an important part of the community? And I'd like to address that. You know, we've been advocates in the past, and we still are, and we always will be. But we should be targeted, thoughtful advocates, just like we were when we founded and built the Glendale Field Box School. Nobody knows that other than us, because somebody at the podium says it once in a while. You know, we were advocates when we were helping disabled children. We had Rotarians going down to Columbus and demanding that there be services provided to disabled kids. It was us, this particular Rotary Club. You know, we signed up to the idea of polio eradication, and we advocated for it. We advocate here locally, but we also advocated for it nationally and internationally. If we're going to be relevant, we have to continue that advocacy. We must be seen to be important to this community. So thanks to the Rotarians and the leadership last year, this club has developed 3 transformational projects. They're big ones. Clean water, that's going to cost a pretty penny. Lead abatement, not an easy problem. We're not the first ones to look at it. And pre-K, we have to be educating our children, all of our children, to high standards. We don't have enough money, and we're not going to have enough money to solve any one of these problems. But we got an ace in the hole. I lived in Las Vegas. We know how to be advocates for the things that we believe in. We say that we want clean water, then advocate for it. We already spend lots of money on it. Same thing is true with lead abatement. We're going to be spending some money on that, I suspect, and pre-K. All of these things have to happen, and we as Rotarians can advocate for those things in a targeted way. And I say we must do that. In order to do that, I think we have to raise the profile of our committees. It's really where the fun stuff happens. I like the people in this room, but I don't know all of you, and you don't know me. Many of you I know because I've been active on committees. It's the best part of Rotary. And as Dick, where's Dick? As Dick just said a few minutes ago, if you haven't signed up for a committee, please do so. But understand that that's where you get to know people and to make friends and to have accomplishments. I expect that we're going to give the committees and their chairman a higher role in the upcoming year. To ask them what they want to do and why their committees are the best, coolest committees in all of Rotary, and to come back at the end of the Rotary year and say what they've accomplished. We should never we should never forget that we are a social organization. And one of the things we need to do is, as we're doing all this good stuff, we need to be remembering to have some fun and to make some friends. And I got to say, I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be a ball. Thank you. Oh, I guess I'm supposed to close the meeting. Okay. You know, it's first time, I'll get used to it. First thing I'm supposed to tell you is next week, there is no meeting because it's Independence Day. I would like to wish everyone a great safe 4th of July. On the 15th of July, 2 weeks from today, John Sheehan from Harbor Behavioral Health will be joining us as our speaker. There are no meetings after this meeting today. And Chuck Mann.
I'll give it a go. A man was getting a haircut prior to a trip to Rome. Prior to a trip to Rome. He mentioned the trip to the barber, who responded, "Rome? Why would you want to go there? It's crowded and dirty and full of Italians. You're crazy to go to Rome." "So how are you getting there?" "We're taking Delta," was the reply. "We got a great rate." "Delta," exclaimed the barber. "That's a terrible airline. Their planes are old, their flight attendants are ugly, and they're always late. So where are you staying in Rome?" "We'll be at the Downtown International Marriott." "That dump? That's the worst hotel in the city. The rooms are small, the service is surly, and they're overpriced." "So what you going to do when you get there?" "We're going to see the Vatican, and we hope to see the Pope." "That's rich," laughed the barber. "You and a million other people are trying to see him. He'll look the size of an ant. Boy, good luck on this lousy trip of yours. You're going to need it." A month later, the man came in again for his regular haircut. The barber asked him about his trip to Rome. "It was wonderful," exclaimed the man. "Not only were we on time on one of Delta's brand new planes, but it was overbooked and they bumped us up to first class. The food and the wine were wonderful. And the hotel, it was great. They just finished a $25 million remodeling job, and now it's the finest hotel in the city. They too were overbooked, so they apologized and gave us the presidential suite at no charge." "Well," muttered the barber, "I know you didn't get to see the Pope." "Actually, we were quite lucky, for as we toured the Vatican, a Swiss guard tapped me on the shoulder and explained that the Pope likes to meet some of his visitors, and if I'd be so kind as to step into his private room and wait, the Pope would personally greet me." Sure enough, 5 minutes later, the Pope walked through the door and shook my hand. I knelt down as he spoke a few words to me. "Really?" asked the barber. "What did he say?" He said, "Where'd you get that terrible haircut?"
We are adjourned.
Tim?